Big overtime win for the Celtics over the Lakers. We're going to spend a little bit of time laughing at LeBron and the Lakers for the handling of a foul. Okay, yeah, he did get fouled, but that whole thing was really just hilarious. Plus, Jaylen Brown didn't need the redemption, but he got it, and he made the most of it. And Joe Mazzulla, smart timeout usage. Yeah, we're going to talk about it all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day, and I'm here for you every day with a free, fresh podcast dropped directly to your device if you are a subscriber. So if you are not, then you're just going to have to find the podcast somewhere else. Makes sense. Just subscribe. It goes right to whatever app you want to use. It's also on YouTube. You can watch the show. You can join a growing community of Celtics fans in the comment section, talking about the game, talking about the podcast. I love all of you for making this your first listen every day. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I played professionally once upon a time, a long, long time ago. And today we are here after the Boston Celtics' big overtime win over the Los Angeles Lakers, 125-121. We'll call it a wild game. Apologies to those of you who have been waiting for the podcast. It's just too late after an ABC 8:40 start to record a podcast. So we're doing it super early on Sunday so you can have all day to listen to it. Today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks for first-time users can get 100% instant deposit match worth up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That's prizepicks.com, promo code Locked On. Let's bring in Tom Westerholm, Tom_NBA. Back from Miami, Tom?
I am. I was looking around my my office now that I've set it back up after arriving back from Miami.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a camera so that I could hold it up and show you that I got fouled. But I
yeah,
couldn't find it.
You know, that would have been smart. That would have been a smart, very normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, what the hell? Let's just go. Let's just dive into it. Later on, we'll talk about the rest of the game later. We'll talk about Jaylen Brown in the second segment. Let's just do this. What the hell is going through Patrick Beverley's mind to say, I'm going to go grab a camera? Here, ref, look at the camera. What is he hoping to accomplish there?
Here's the thing. I don't like Patrick Beverley very much. Like, it just as like a player. I think I never like those players where it's like the line between like kind of like where there's just like this little blurring of like dirty versus not dirty. It's just like I don't like that. I never like that kind of stuff. That was hilarious. Like, that was the funniest technical I've seen in a long time. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what he was thinking. Like, it certainly didn't help the Lakers at all. But as far as just like over dramatic histrionics, I mean, LeBron was like, like crumpled up on the grounds. Like truly just like doing Hollywood proud, like the Lakers last night with all this stuff. But then, and like, so like LeBron, I felt like, the thing is, like, he was objectively correct. Like, he got smacked. And like, the ball obviously missed the layup because he got smacked. Like, he should have been going to the free throw line. But like, and so like, I understand he was correct. I like his like kneel down on the floor and like pull his arm down into like into like a thing. It was very funny. I thought it was over dramatic and kind of like, come on, dude, you could do this. But Beverly pulling out the camera, like, I'm all in favor. Like, he earned that technical, but
sure,
man, that was funny. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
From a basketball perspective, you can say that he really screwed his team there because they had the ball down 4. You can say, like, in overtime, it was a 4-point game when they got that last shot. If he hadn't done that stupid thing, let's just pretend everything goes exactly the same. They have a chance to tie the game at the end, but he had to pull that camera out. So
look, man, the Lakers aren't very good. They're not a good team. So
No.
like, I mean, so like, what do you want? You want you want the maybe a chance at a 3-point win, or do you want the really excellent meme going around
Oh,
Twitter?
yeah.
I'll just
Oh.
look, this Lakers team is not good enough to like. I think he made the right decision. I fully support. And this has nothing to do with the Celtics winning. I just think like this Lakers season, like if you can get a joke off like that, I think you got to do it.
Listen, I just got to say the tone of this podcast in the first 5 minutes of Locked On Lakers is a little bit different in discussing the foul. I listened to the Locked On Lakers podcast on the way home, and oh my God, matching the locker room comments. I mean, I got to say, the NBA charity that benefits from the fines is just they just got double their money because everybody is getting fined after that one. Darvin Ham, Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverley, LeBron James. There's 5 fines that are going to come out of that game.
Jaylen Brown admitted they got it wrong. Maybe Jaylen gets him.
I mean, look, hey, I always say it. You know, I always say it. If it comes down to a call like that, there's probably 10 other things you could have done to avoid a call like that. And so, like the Lakers, and maybe not for the Lakers, and that's one thing that they said after the game. It was like, "Hey, man, we need all the wins we can get." But hey, that's your fault, man. That's your fault. Don't blame me. Look at Russell Westbrook. Who gets off the hook more in this game than Russell Westbrook? Who at what point in the game was that he got the 2 free throws, and then he immediately on the next time it was the Jaylen flagrant, or was it Jaylen? Somebody, it was
Brogdon
flagrant.
Yeah,
flagrant. He hits the 2 free throws, and immediately jacks up a corner 3-pointer. And then on his way down, the whole way down the floor, you can see it because he's facing us in the media section. He is cursing himself out. He's like, "Ah, damn it!" But like, he's like feeling it, but you don't realize like the Celtics are letting you get that shot. You played completely into the Celtics' hands. Celtics don't win this game if they don't let Russell Westbrook shoot the ball.
correct.
That's part of why they won this game, because they said, "Hey, Russ, go ahead, take all the shots you want." And what did he had that shot in OT that missed over? Let's see, what did he shoot overall? 0 for 3, 4 of 14. Come on, like.
Which is also what happened in LA, by the way.
Yeah. No, 100%. So, I mean, I get it. They're LeBron, but I mean, give me a break, LeBron. After the game, he's like, "I watch basketball every day, and I've never seen anything like this before." Like, come on. You went to the line 6 times in this game. Okay, maybe you should have been 8, but like constantly going to the line. Like, who gets more respect than LeBron James in the league?
So I agree completely. I will say too, I mean, I do think I agree with your point that like, hey, don't put yourself in a position where the refs decide the game. I do think there's usually probably like, if we're being completely honest, right? There's probably 1 to 2 games a year, like maybe a couple more, I don't know, where the refs really swing, like, you know, around the league, where the refs really do swing the outcome. And like last night, I think we could agree that like the refs swung that outcome, like that call. LeBron should have either made that layup or gotten 2 free throws. I went back and looked. There would have been probably like 1 to 1.5 seconds left on the clock. So the Celtics probably would have gotten one last, you know, kind of shot at it. But I mean, you know, the
We
Lakers
don't know how that would have gone.
Yeah, you don't know. And like but the Lakers win probability, if the refs make that call, which was objectively the right call, would have spiked exponentially. Like it's just way more likely that they win that game.
Sure.
Like I think that's, you know, and I mean, how much of that is the refs? How much of that is you got to play better and not put yourself in that position? You could make a strong case either way. All that aside, I do agree that like, okay, you lost that game, but you are what are they now? They're like 4 games below 500 or something like that. 5 games below 500. Like, okay, like the conference isn't even that strong. Like, don't I don't know, man. I like like that particular moment I feel like those are the kind of moments that like it's easy for players to kind of grab onto and be like, you see why we're struggling. It's the refs. And it's like, nah, dude, like your team isn't that good. Like you play Dennis Schroeder and Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook together sometimes. Like I don't like you have two superstars, one of whom is pretty old. Like like your roster just isn't that good. I don't know.
Here's my like. You're right. I think you hit on the Hollywood thing, and this is gonna be my last comment on this. You hit on the Hollywood thing 100%, but it is 100% true. Those guys. I mean, I don't want to turn this into whatever. I do a Celtics podcast. The Celtics. If that was reverse that, and if it was Jayson Tatum, what's Joe Mazzulla saying after that? What's Jaylen Brown saying after that? Are they going as off the deep end as those other guys? I mean, they went back and posted on social media. I just don't see that coming from not just the Celtics, but for other teams in the league. They all like 5 guys. I mean, do they feel like they all have to come to the defense of LeBron? Is it that why? Like, hey, if I come to LeBron's big, defense, maybe he'll pass me the ball a little bit more in the game or something. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do, but this to have legitimately 5 guys potentially fined for their comments about the officiating, not to mention whatever happened on the floor. So I felt like it was so over the top. Even this discussion, over the top. Everything's over the top. Yeah. Like, okay, like it was an obvious blown call. But okay, blown calls happen all the time. The Celtics have had blown calls against them multiple times in this season. Hell, in this game. Like but because it happened to LeBron, oh my God, the officiating. Big referendum on the officiating. All of a sudden, the whole world wants to talk about the officiating. And oh God, just enough. Okay, yes, you got fouled, but holy, give it a rest. I mean, this is so insane. Well, we got screwed, and we're always getting screwed, and oh God, give it a break. You guys are not a good basketball team, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum would be demonstrative, but I agree with you that But like it would not have been, like, I mean, I don't think he would have like knelt down on the floor and all that stuff. Like it would have been, honestly, Grant Williams might have rustled on the camera. Grant he might have brought a camera out and showed a ref and picked up a technical. So I don't know.
He might have. I also, like, last thing, how did LeBron like all of that? How does he not get a tech after all of that? I mean, that dude was okay. You have your moment. He did a tumbling routine out there. Like he was just, at some point the refs could be like, okay, enough, like stop, like we get it. You've made your point.
Yeah. If you're going to give Schroeder a technical for slipping and falling in the lane, and you're going to give Beverly a technical for being objectively funny, you probably should have given LeBron a technical for all that.
Yeah. So, all right, that's out of the way. Everybody's talking about that. We talked about it. We're done. Let's talk about Jaylen Brown. I don't think Jaylen Brown needed redemption. I don't think that was like something that is like, oh God, he needs to redeem himself for the 2 missed free throws. But he got it, and he got it right away. We're going to talk about that next. First, today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy, super fun, super easy, and just the type of daily fantasy game you want to play, because it's you against the projections. It's not you against experts. It's not you against some dude with high-powered computing and algorithms and all that stuff. You just go out there, you pick 2 to 6 players, and if they score more or less than your PrizePicks projections, their PrizePicks projections, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So it's that simple, and it's not just the NBA, which, yeah, great. Also the NFL, also every other major pro sport, every other college sport, every other sport in general, European basketball, MMA, esports, sure, why not? I wouldn't be surprised if they put pickleball in here at some point. It's just so insane, the level of choices that you have here. And entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. So if you started by the time I started talking, you'd be done by the time I finished talking about PrizePicks. Safe and fast withdrawals. So that's good. When you win your money, you want it. And it's currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. So download PrizePicks. Go to the PrizePicks.com. Sign up today and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users, you can get a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. So if you deposit 100, you get 100. If you deposit 50, PrizePicks will give you 50. Don't forget to enter the promo code at sign up for an instant deposit match of up to $100. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go to Locked On NBA feed. You get 2 podcasts there. Locked On NBA, which I host on Wednesdays with Jake Madison. Also Locked On Game to Game. You get Monday through Friday, the games in the league. You get caught up on either side of the game. So you get caught up on the night very quickly, very easily. Let's bring Tom Westerholm back into this. The other big story, to me, the bigger story, but we can't pass up an opportunity to make fun of the Lakers and LeBron. I had to get that out right away. Jaylen Brown.
Look, we're just trying to be Sports Center, man. There's a business model here. We got to do what we got to do. We got to talk about LeBron.
I think Celtics fans were okay with just laughing at the Lakers and LeBron for 10 minutes. If it was anything else, sure, but for like 10 minutes, you sit there, you're like, you know what? Yeah, hell with that guy.
Yeah. One of the funniest tweets I saw last night was shout out to my guy Trey. I can't remember his full handle off the top of my head, but he tweeted something like that. He's a big Celtics fan. And he tweeted like he's like, you think Lakers fans think I care about that? Like the Celtics shouldn't have won that game. I think it's fantastic that they got cheated out of a win. I think this is hilarious.
It actually is. I think you're Celtics fans. You're like, you won. Oh, but you cheated the Lakers out of a win. Oh, that is amazing. That is actually
the reaction seems to be a lot more like, like point laugh.
It's about time. It's about time it happened to you. Yeah. But okay. But really, honestly, why they won that game is Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Who was just awful for the first 3. Well, I shouldn't say that actually, because he had 10 points in the first quarter. But he got into foul trouble, and it seemed like once the foul trouble started to happen, he got into his own head again. He had that horrible turnover after a rebound. He called it an inbound, but he got a rebound, and he tried to push it ahead to Malcolm Brogdon, and Lonnie Walker stole it, I think, and laid it up. And afterwards, like Al Horford popped up off the bench and like waved his towel at Jaylen, like come on, and like really like got into his and it was just bad for Jaylen at that point. But then, amazing how life works. He gets to the line. He gets a. Can we talk about this sequence for a second? That 3-pointer that Al Horford missed, that went off the top of the backboard. And then Jaylen gets the offensive rebound and the foul. You heard on the broadcast. I watched it again afterwards. You can hear the smack, and the refs like 3 seconds later. I counted almost 3 seconds later. We're finally like, oh wait, we should call that foul. So it took like 3 seconds for them to make the call, and he gets to the line and he makes the free throw to tie the game before this whole LeBron histrionics and all that stuff. I just think it's just wild that Jaylen. He doesn't need redemption. We would have forgotten about those 2 free throws. You know, it didn't matter if he ever got free throws again to tie. We wouldn't go back at the end of his career and be like, he never atoned for those 2 free throws.
Remember that Knicks game in January of 2023? Yeah,
right. Yeah. Like we wouldn't have done that, but the next day to get that opportunity, you're like, oh, look at this. Look at here we are again, and for him to not only make that, but to end up scoring 20 points over the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter and 5 minutes of overtime, that was an amazing bounce back, redemption story, all of that stuff. It was just amazing to watch.
He was great. I mean, and like, especially to do that on a night when Tatum is really struggling. I mean, I know Tatum did some good stuff late, but like, I mean, really just like tough game for Tatum. To do that on a night when, the Celtics really needed it. Honestly, the whole game to me felt like if Tatum doesn't turn it on, they're going to lose this game. And a big part of that was because Jaylen was on the sideline with foul trouble. Like, he had 5 fouls. I don't remember when he picked up his 5th, but he played with 5 for a while, like certainly the whole overtime period. And
his 5th at the top, the offensive foul to start the fourth quarter.
Right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, 17 minutes of game time that he was in super foul trouble. And so it just, to me, that especially in the fourth quarter, it just felt like, look, if Tatum doesn't explode here, the Celtics are doomed. And Tatum never exploded, but Jaylen was just excellent. And I thought that free throw, I don't know what you thought when he was stepping to the line. I was like, oh no, he's
Yeah.
like, I was like, I think he's going to miss this one. This is going to be a
Yeah.
whole talking point yet again. But no, I mean, look, I mean, I had my Jayson Tatum was about to lose all his life savings because he said he was going to bet all his money
right.
on Jaylen the
That's
next
right.
time, and it's like, whoo, bet you didn't expect to have to pony up this quickly,
Yeah.
Tatum, did you?
Yeah.
But you know, he came through, and I mean, you know, it was funny too. Like some of those, there was a couple of like kind of like no yes shots. You know, that pull up three in overtime was just like
The 3-pointer.
I literally,
As he pulled up, I was like, oh my God. And then he went through, I'm like, oh, Jaylen. Oh man. I mean, really, honestly, that was I couldn't help but get caught up in that moment on press row. I was like, oh no. Hey, all right. Yeah, that definitely was a no yes shot.
Well, and then afterward, I mean, like the Celtics kind of tacitly admitted that it was a bad shot. Like Mazzulla saying something along the lines of like, I was telling him to slow it up, so shows what I know. It's like,
Yeah.
no, Mazzulla, you were right. It's
Yeah.
just that Jaylen happened to be completely engulfed in flames at that point. So you know, I mean, credit to Jaylen, man. I mean, he's an excellent player, and it's just it was fun to watch him yesterday. He played really well.
Yeah, you know, he gets to the line, and at first I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you got to be kidding me that he gets this shot again. Like, the next game, that's not how this – if this was a TV show or a movie or some sort of entertainment thing and it was scripted that way, I'd be like, no. I'm going to turn this off now because I know he's going to make the free throw because that's how it's supposed to be scripted. Like, you're not – it doesn't work like that. You don't get the redemption – that's not how the redemption arc is supposed to work. So you writers suck, and I'm not watching this anymore. But there he is in real life getting that shot. And I'm being completely honest when I say this. I was thinking to myself, Jaylen, you have to make this shot. I'm saying this in my head. I'm like, you have to make this shot. You cannot miss this just because you don't want to be the guy. We don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this again.
Don't make me do this again. I don't want to podcast about this again. I don't want to write about this again. Don't do this, man.
Because I have a tendency to ask the first question.
You do.
You know, like I grab the
Jaylen,
mic.
let's just get this out of the way. All right, let's start.
Yeah. Right. That's how I asked the first question.
I
know. We got to do this, Jaylen. You know we got to do this, so let's do this. So I would have had to do this again and be like, okay, Jaylen, you were here yesterday. Here we are again. What's going on with you? And I try to put it in like terms where I'm like, I'm not attacking you, but also, you know, I got to ask about this.
Yeah.
I
thought that was an abundantly fair question. Yeah.
And so for it to be like, all right, now redemption. I didn't even ask the first question this time. Other people grabbed the mic. I ended up asking him about the Al Horford stuff because I thought Al Horford is kind of like an instrumental part of all of this because he's in Jaylen's ear. And I think Jaylen, it's clear that he gets into his own head. His problem is entirely himself. Whenever he gets into these little funks, whenever he gets into the poor shot selection, whenever he gets the big turnovers, it's never, to me, it's never, oh, they figured out a way to defend him. It's always Jaylen, and he said it last night after the when I asked him about the turnover. He said, you know, I was thinking 2-3 steps ahead, and I'm not thinking about the moment that I'm in, doing what I'm supposed to do in that moment. That's classic Jaylen Brown. That's the thing that gets him into trouble all the time. And for Al to be there and be like, hey, hello, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
Now, stay with us. Like it's like smacking him in the face almost like, are you with me? Stay in this moment right here. And then later, Al's pumping him up when he does something good. He's like, Al, I think, is a good rudder for Jaylen Brown. I think it's important because Jaylen can be so effing good if he stays in the moment, and too often his mind just starts to drift.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting. That's one of the things that to me makes him one of the most compelling and interesting kind of people on this team. Because like, I mean, obviously Tatum's compelling because he's an excellent basketball player, but like
Sure.
it's like, okay, all right. Like I get what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing, a top 5 player. You're really good, man. But like with Jaylen, it's so interesting because like, I think there's so many dynamics at work. I mean, number one, the guy is a thinker, right? Like he thinks about things and that makes it harder to stay in a moment, right? That makes it harder. Of course, you're thinking 2 to 3 steps ahead. You're always thinking 2 to 3 steps ahead. And like
That's how
that
his
prevents you.
brain works.
I think that's just how his brain works. And like, I mean, I think a lot of smart people, their brains work like that. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so there's that there. And then when you look back at Jaylen's career, I mean, like there are so many moments that are kind of not necessarily built to like make him doubt himself, but certainly like just a little bit different from a lot of all-stars, right? Like he started like his first year, he's on a good team. He doesn't get a ton of playing time. Then he starts, the 2018-19 season, he ended up having to come off the bench a lot because that team was loaded but broken, right? And there's just been all this kind of weird stuff in his career, all these kind of weird moments that don't happen to everybody. He's a young star wing who has spent his entire career kind of like overshadowed by other stars on the team, whether it's Kyrie, whether it's like back in the day, like and now he is a primary star on a team, and it's just got to be weird, man. Like it's just got to be a different kind of experience for him. So I think when you look at those things, like all kind of coming together to where, okay, now he's a star, now he's expected to carry a team, to have a team on his shoulders, and on top of all that, he is this thinker who's always thinking 2 to 3 steps ahead. I mean, he's a fascinating arc. Like his whole thing is very interesting to me.
Very, very interesting. Oh my God, I got so much to say about Jaylen Brown. I got to take a break though. We'll talk about Jaylen Brown in a minute. First, today's show also brought to you by TurboTax. Go to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Meet with an expert who will do them for you. TurboTax experts can relieve you from the stress of taxes and file for you so you can do not taxes. Show your eyes things that are not taxes. Unpack a moving box of not taxes. Go to a Celtics game with not taxes. Sing not taxes a lullaby. Hope not taxes sleeps through the night. Grab a saddle and ride not taxes into the sunset with TurboTax. An expert will do your taxes from start to finish, ensuring your taxes are done right, guaranteed, so you can relax. It feels good to be done with your taxes, doesn't it? Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Visit TurboTax.com to learn more. Intuit TurboTax, full service products only. Video meeting while expert does your taxes required. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Let's bring Tom back in. I can talk about Jaylen and this aspect of Jaylen for hours because I love this psychology, human psychology, the brain, regardless of your physical ability, regardless of how good you are at things, your brain can be the great equalizer. And if your brain decides that you're going to start thinking about something, you can't stop that. It's hard. And I always say, like, there's always a little bit of us that's who we were in high school, right? There's just, no matter what, no matter how old or how successful you get, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all of these big billionaire weirdos, there's always a little bit of them, that high school self. That's probably what drives those guys. And like Jaylen's high school self, I'm sure, feeling like overshadowed and all that stuff. Yeah, he was always a prodigy, but also, you go to Cal and that's not a great season. He didn't have a great season at Cal. He did get picked third, but yeah, all of the stuff you said still holds. And
he got picked third, but he got booed. I mean, what a
right.
bizarre way to start as a lottery pick.
Right. So it's hard to just put that out of your head and just say, yeah, I'm going to focus on the moment. Like, it's staying in the moment, like the Paul Pierce mentality. I missed 4 shots in a row, so I'm just going to take this next shot. Not a problem. That is hard to do because you start missing a shot. I mean, I certainly couldn't do it. I missed a couple of shots in a row. I'm like, is it coming off my hand wrong? Should I be shooting this? Is my elbow tucked in? I should probably be doing this. You start to think, you get into your own head. You're like, oh, damn, I just got back cut. Like, that's what happens to Jaylen Brown. So for him to, it really makes what he did against the Lakers a little bit more impressive to me, because to stay in that moment and say, you know what, I'm present, I'm here, to do it within the game, to turn, and which he's been doing a lot more lately. It does show
he has
so much progress, because it was not that long ago where when he got into that mode, he was gone for the whole game. He was gone for the whole game, and you're just that, okay, bad Jaylen night. Now he makes a play like that, and he can turn it around in the fourth quarter and say, I'm going to do this. All right, I'm going to make this free throw. I'm going to make this pull-up shot. I still think the pull-up shot, he gets a little too caught up in the other way. But hey, if it falls, just say, okay.
Better that, yeah.
Great players make great plays. So
Yeah.
there you go. He is so fascinating. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. But there's a whole other game here, the rest of this game, that we should probably talk about. Cannot dismiss Malcolm Brogdon, who was awesome in this game. And this was a classic, this is why they got Malcolm Brogdon type of game. 26 points, four assists, 6 rebounds, 8 of 15 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, 7 of 8 from the line. What a wonderful, beautiful game from Malcolm Brogdon, who started the second half in place of Grant Williams. Mazzulla really shrunk the line, the rotation in the second half. Tatum played 47 minutes again, but it worked, and they have 3 days off. So I'm sure Tatum is getting a couple of those days off. Stay off your feet. Somebody roll him around on one of those dollies. Do not take any steps on your own. But Brogdon, when they needed him, man, he really stepped up. And I keep going back to that OKC game, Tom. Since that OKC game, when he said, you know what, this second unit has to pick up the first unit when it's not there, he's largely done that since then.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things he did to win that game the way the Celtics did, where Tatum wasn't very good for most of the game, where Jaylen, was kind of in and out for most of the game with foul trouble, to win, and without Smart, without Rob, to win that game, I think they really needed to punish the Lakers guards, who just again, aren't that good. And Brogdon did that really well. Beverly couldn't stay in front of him. Beverly couldn't hang with him. He was just kind of getting to the rim, got to the rim for a few of his buckets. He hit a couple of threes, just really, really good. And just completely outplayed that. Again, they have LeBron James, they have Anthony Davis. So you got to punish the areas where they're not nearly as good. And Brogdon, I felt was a big part of that.
Yeah, and in fact, it was kind of wild because there were a couple of times when Brogdon got switched onto Anthony Davis defensively.
He did, yeah.
And they didn't throw him. They didn't throw Anthony Davis the ball a couple of times. I was like, what are you doing? In fact, there was one where Schroeder drove right past Anthony Davis. I'm like, this is such a Dennis Schroeder thing to do. But I see you with the mismatch. In fact, I'm going to drive by you and your mismatch so I can go to the other side, and we're going to do something different.
I'm going to look at you the whole way past.
I'm going to see ya. Yeah. Oh man. But he kind of held himself. He kind of held up well. The Celtics actually, they did throw it into Anthony Davis. They got a double team. They got a turnover on Davis, and this was late in the game. And I said to B-Rob on presser, I was like, oh, so that's why they don't throw it into Davis, because you throw the double team at him, and he didn't handle it well. But Brogdon,
and he didn't handle that well all night, partly because of Al Horford, who was really good against him on a lot of those possessions.
Yeah. Horford, this is one of those games where Horford didn't do much offensively, but really good defensively.
Yeah.
Really good defensively. Huge. It's hard. It's weird to say, he was 7 points in 38 minutes, and you don't win the game without Al Horford. That 3-pointer off the top of the backboard notwithstanding, which I got to say, in that situation, it was yes. I'm going to pass it to him.
Jaren Jackson Jr. would have gotten an assist for that.
Some good old home scoring on that one.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, what a dumb! I'm almost ashamed of myself for engaging in that. But that 3-pointer, I will say, Al had to shoot that first of all. The pass from Tatum, if you watch that play again, just watch the pass from Tatum. Tatum fires a pass 100 miles an hour at basically Horford's knee. The fact that Horford even caught the ball and got that shot off with 4 seconds, or no, at that point it was 8 seconds left. The fact that he even caught the ball and was able to get a shot off is an underrated, important element to this game, because when Tatum swung it, I'm just telling you, watch that play again, and you'll see when Horford goes down to grab it, you're like, oh, wow, that easily could have been a turnover. Okay, so it goes off the top of the backboard. He had 2 guys closing in on him. Not great. I thought this was going to be Horford's like, oh, my God, he made it from the corner moment, but Horford was amazing in that one.
So what is this, like the third? Is this like the third time in like 2 weeks that Horford has missed a shot, but did it in a crucial way that helps the Celtics because of like the 2 shot clock violations?
Yes.
Yeah.
Horford is just the guy's like, hey, let me get this shot up there. I'm willing to take the miss.
Right. Exactly.
At that age, his shooting percentage, he doesn't care about his shooting percentage. Whatever. I'll just put it up off the rim. Get it up there nice and soft, or off the top of the backboard nice and soft.
Right. And hold Anthony Davis to 1 for 8 in the second half. You're good to go.
Yeah, amazing. Shout out to Grant Williams, who was not good in this game, but his shoulder popped out on that one play. His shoulder he had a subluxation, and he popped that sucker back in and continued playing. He did not have a good basketball game, but man, that is tough to go out there and keep playing through that. That is not possible.
Yeah. I have I don't know what the verb would be, but I've subluxated my shoulder during basketball games. I'm not exaggerating, somewhere between 50 to 100 times, because I ended up having to have surgery for it. And I will tell you, it is so hard to play the rest of the way. Like, you can come back in, and usually you do, because it it kind of pops back in, and then you're just like, oh gosh, but okay. It hurts, and boy, it gets stiff, and it makes shooting hard, and it makes rebounding hard. It is hard to play after you do that.
So, I mean, good for him for getting there. What else? They got to figure something out to do with Sam Hauser, because he had some really rough moments in that game. We got to take an L on that one.
I will hold an L, but I reserve the right to give it back as one of the. I think I was one of the last holdouts, right? If he heats up again from 3. You know who to, I don't know what I get, like podcast points, something. Can I have some podcast bucks?
Podcast bucks. Yeah, we can create those. Yeah.
Cool.
Like a little like Dave and Buster's power card.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to refill my card. If Sam Hauser gets hot, I want a stuffed animal from the gift shop. So
okay, no problem. I can get that for you. Cool. And then lastly, we got to mention every time it happens, Joe Mazzulla with the timeouts, but this time, I think smart usage. The very smart decision with at like 3:07 on the clock, the Lakers take a timeout, and Joe Mazzulla calls a timeout to continue getting the guys some rest. Because he had 3 minutes, he had 3 timeouts left, and he had the use it or lose it one, because after 3 minutes you only get 2.
Yep.
Smart, like whatever it was, like he saw that Jayson Tatum again didn't rest. He didn't come out he played the whole second, third, and fourth in OT again. Got to get those guys a little bit of legs. I sat here on this podcast saying, use your timeouts creatively to get these guys some rest, and he did. That's fantastic. And then in overtime, he kind of made a joke about sinning, which I saw you enjoyed his correction from cardinal to venial sin.
Correct. He's not. He didn't damn himself to hell and complete separation from God. But definitely a sin though to use that timeout the way he did.
But actually, I thought it was fine, because he was playing offense defense, and
100%.
At that point, I was like, because I looked up, I'm like, what's Luke Cornett doing on the floor?
Why is Luke Cornett in the game?
Why is Luke Cornett in this game right now?
Why did he get that pass in the corner in that situation? What are we doing here, guys?
What is going on here? But the Celtics would have won this game easily if they didn't give up so many second chance points. Like that's the one thing that we haven't talked about. The second chance points, in fact, I didn't see the final number, but Where is it? It was a lot. Hold on. Lakers 24, Celtics 11.
Yeah.
And they did a good job limiting that in the second half, which is why they were able to win. But that's why Cornette was in the game down the stretch, because they were playing offense defense and they needed to get those rebounds. So they put the tallest human being they had in there to go grab those rebounds. And then he called the timeout because, dear God, we cannot have Luke Cornette getting a pass on offense. Let me get Derek White back in there. So as much as it may have been a basketball sin to call a timeout in that spot, it was actually very understandable, because he had that same moment. He's like, let me get Luke out of this game. Timeout. Here we go. Plus, it did, again, that gives the guys some rest. What the hell? Why not? Like, throw the rules out the window in that situation, because you need to get these guys that little bit of a boost. If 2 minutes on the bench is going to get them that little extra juice to grab a rebound, get a loose ball, finish a shot, finish a play, then, damn the rules to hell. That's the situation where you got to get those guys a little bit of an opportunity, and you get Luke Cornette out of the game on offense. So I thought that was smart. I was going to say something to him in that moment, but I thought that the moment had passed. But I'm saying it now. I agree with that timeout. I don't think it was a sin at all.
Yeah. I mean, look, like, if you trust your guys are talented enough to win games, whether or not, like, you're putting them in the most idealized situation. Like, yeah, getting them some rest. Your guys are talented enough that, like, rested players those guys should win basketball games. So yeah. No, I agree completely.
So, all right, well, Celtics win. Now they have a couple days off, 3 days off before the next game.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know that they are not practicing on Sunday. As far as I'm concerned, take Monday off too. Just get everybody, just stay in bed. Everybody stay in bed. Don't go get shots up. Just lay there, play your Switch or whatever, and just chill out.
Yep.
Do some shoulder exercises, Grant. Get that thing strengthened up a little bit. Ugh. All right, Tom.
That's a terrible feeling, man.
Ugh. Oh my god.
Heebie-jeebies.
I was talking about it with him after the game. He's just like, matter of fact, like, yeah, popped it back in. I'm like, oh Jesus, man, like, what the hell? But anyway,
he's leaving out the crunching, kind of scraping feeling that you get when it pops out of place. It sucks.
Of all the things that I've done to myself, that's one that I haven't. But I can just imagine because it's a ball joint, it goes around the bone. So if it comes out, you got to squeeze that sucker back in. That's not comfortable.
Well, and what happened to me was if you're on the YouTube, you can see, like, this part of the bone kind of broke off, so it was super easy for it to flop right out. So that was good. The best time I ever had with it was one time I went up for a rebound, subluxated my shoulder in midair, came down and sprained my ankle on the way back down because I was like trying to do this in midair. So that was I hobbled off the court and also had to at some point I should have just admitted defeat and been like, no, basketball doesn't want me playing it, but I was too stubborn at the time.
No, that's never. You're never going to admit that.
That was never going to happen. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you hopping on, Tom.
Appreciate you, man.
Early Sunday. We're Sunday afternoon now. So I released this podcast right away. With the late nature of the game, I didn't do an actual right away post-game podcast. So appreciate you guys waiting just a few more hours for me to get some sleep, wake up, and get this podcast out. So this will serve as the Monday podcast. So I'll leave it up all day Sunday, leave it up all day Monday. For those of you who didn't want to spend any of your time Sunday watching or listening, okay, that's fine. You can listen on your way to work or school or whatever on Monday. Next podcast will release late Monday night for Tuesday. So that's the schedule this week. So still 5 podcasts, always going to be 5 podcasts a week for you at the very least. Plus, I will do bonus podcasts as they warrant on the weekends. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch the show on YouTube, hop on, see what we're talking about with subluxations of the shoulders, or just hop on to just enjoy a podcast on YouTube. Hop into the comments, participate in the conversation going on there. Yell at me, yell at Tom. I don't know why you'd be yelling at us. We're right. Do that and share the podcast if you are a subscriber. Make sure you tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day.